Hello everybody, my name is Pravus and welcome back to Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. Got some more requests from the community that we need to be playing with today, though I do intend on interspersing that occasionally with some scenarios from the popular tab, just to kind of keep things mixed up. Anyway, today's scenario is called the Panic Buying Plague, which I suppose is supposed to be a bit of a commentary on the current global health crisis that led a lot of people to panic buy and create mass shortages of necessary products, I am guessing. If I can just find the darn thing. There it is by Mini Wolfen. In a world where the economy is stable and employment is improving, will fears of a global pandemic crash the economy? Spread fear and chaos as you broadcast your message of paranoia to the world. In this scenario, you'll destroy the world's economy and its supply of hand sanitizer. Good! Hate hand sanitizer. That stuff just sticks to your skin. It's all gross and sticky and it smells like rubbing alcohol. And I don't like it. It's pretty effective, though, supposedly, against these viruses, so I guess I'm glad that I have it. But no one else is going to have it. Only me. Virus type. ATP boost Darwinist, Oxystrike, Hemophile, and Symptostasis. It is called Store Panic. Growing fears of a global pandemic catastrophically changed humanity's way of life, have manifested themselves. The economy is stable with jobs and employment increasing as we head into a future where our economy is fueled by our actions, what we do, what we make. We, however, will be creating fear. Before you destroy Earth's economy, you must get your message out. You'll see that you don't spread through insects or rodents, you spread through fear. Cause chaos as you spread your message. Prepare for Armageddon. Prepare for panic buying as you throttle the world's economy. Starting in China, because it's totally not a commentary on the current situation, but it probably is anyway. Chaos. Sweet and lovely chaos. I feel like this is supposed to be a Deltarune commentary there. Or maybe it's supposed to be a Professor Chaos, you know, cute little butters in his costume, that kind of thing. Anyway, paranoia, warnings of a global pandemic, causes victims to have a natural fear of missing out, spreading panic buying through fear. Amazing how that worked, isn't it, with the current situation and all that stuff. I mean, everything was fine until you heard like the first few cases that popped up like in California, and all of a sudden, all the way in Virginia, I start finding toilet paper and other things are just gone. They are not to be had. It's like, geez, glad I already had my stash from Costco before this hit. Ugh. Word of mouth causes the host to start speaking out about their fears over a global pandemic. Yes, spread the panic. Panic itself is practically a virus. Once a few people lose their heads in the right kind of a mob situation, it just spreads exponentially. It's incredible how that works. Greed causes receptors in the brain to make the host act on impulse. They don't really care about how much food they bought. Spreads panic buying through impulsiveness. Or just trying to, you know, create a sort of a monopoly condition. Wasn't there, in fact, since we're talking about hand sanitizer, wasn't there a specific case of some guy, I don't remember where he was in America, but he went around like buying all of the hand sanitizer in a several mile radius. Like he bought 10,000 plus bottles of hand sanitizer or something like that. I don't remember the exact numbers. And then was trying to sell it on Amazon or whatever. But then Amazon's like, yeah, that's price gouging. Nope, can't do that. And he got stuck with all of it. It got reported, and he was so hated that he's like, I'm gonna donate all of it to the hospital. It's like, yep. Yeah, but apparently that wasn't the first time he does that stuff. That's like what he does. He looks for shortages and tries to go and buy stuff and then sell it like that. It's kind of clever in a way, but also kind of scummy. Media One allows you to spread fear through in-depth media. Unlocks chain of media transmissions. We have the news. Independent news outlets report on fears of a global pandemic. Wealthy regions don't buy into fake news, but the poor will listen to anything, right? Well, that seems slightly classist of you. Are you suggesting that the poor peoples are unable to differentiate between fake news and the truth? Is that what you're saying? I don't know if that's what you want to be saying. Maybe it is. Radio broadcasts, local radio broadcasts spread fear amongst a niche audience. In the rural regions, I'm pretty confident I know exactly what that niche audience is. Truth fight the economic war. Join us in our local radio broadcast today. Hear from expert analysts and radical free thinkers from across the globe. Fight for truth, fight for the economy. On this week's show, we'll be taking on about tinfoil hats in a huge global pandemic. I think everyone knows what kind of people get their news from the radio. There are two types. One, there's the somewhat... but the first word that I want to say is smarmy, but that's That's a little bit meaner than I mean it to be. But the people who are, I guess, kind of hipster and just listen to NPR, they're usually kind of chill, but sometimes they're kind of hipster. I don't know. That's just sort of the image I get in my head. And then the ones who listen to Rush Limbaugh, that kind of stuff. You know, those are the two people who get their news on the radio these days. Everyone else gets it on their smartphone online. You've caused fear and panic across independent media, and now you can spread fear through the mainstream chains of media transmission. That sounds great, but it costs 17 DNA points before I can unlock anything. I mean, what an expensive gating mechanic. I don't get any benefit from that at all? Is that even worth it? No new symptoms. We do have abilities, though. Western market appeal. Fear of a recession improves panic buying effectiveness in the wealthy regions. And Eastern market appeal. Fear of a lack of essential items drives up sales in poorer and Eastern markets. I guess we'll do that since, you know, I'm kind of mostly in the poor / the Eastern markets, so that seems fine. Although, to be fair, I don't think it was because of fears of a recession that people started panic buying in things like the United States. It was definitely a fear of shortages. I mean, gosh, I was walking up and down the store and it was like, they took all the potatoes. There's no bread. There's no frozen vegetables. I thought you guys were going to load up on Doritos or something, but you actually took all the actually good essential stuff. Ah! It was terrible. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Let's see. We have hand sanitizer. Allows panic buying to spread through the sale of hand sanitizer, making people feel calm, safe, and clean. Slightly effective in all regions. And face masks. This was a real one. Allows panic buying to spread through the sale of face masks. This is slightly effective in rural areas and gives people a sense of control. Even though maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't. Some conflicting things I'm hearing about that one. Fear of a recession. Misspelled. Several people online have been spreading misinformation and fear about a worldwide economic depression. Many fear that their livelihoods could be ruined and badly affected. However, with employment increasing, the economy is not slowing down soon. Give it a couple of months. It's amazing how fast things can shut down, right? And by the way, I'm not trying to say that masks aren't effective. They're definitely effective if you're sick and you're trying to prevent the spread any further. Please go ahead and wear a mask. Like, follow your local health guidelines. I've just heard some people saying it's not as effective as some people have said, but then maybe it's more effective than others have said. I don't know. There's a lot of people conflicting with their data. I suspect a lot of it is ultimately driven by a different agenda, if you know what I mean. Let's go for the face masks. Go ahead and reduce that a little bit. Toilet paper. Allows panic buying to spread through the sale of toilet paper, gives people a sense of control, and is quite effective in poor and rural regions. Sure, if you say so. Again, I'm pretty sure that those kind of luxury goods were mass bought out. In the wealthy regions, I don't know about the poor. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I have zero experience in that regard. Wasn't it? Let's see, I'm trying to remember. There's a quote somewhere. Oh, yeah. I was watching Supernatural with my wife a couple of years back. We tried marathoning through the whole thing. Got through about 7 or 8 seasons before we just kind of bugged out. Or 7 or 8? Whatever. We got to the last 2 seasons before I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't. Anyway, I'm pretty sure there's an episode in kind of a post-apocalyptic world where one of the main characters is like, toilet paper, it'll be the new currency. Stock up now. And I'm like, I can kind of see it. Yeah, I can kind of see that. That would be the kind of luxury good that you're willing to give an arm and a leg for, if you kind of grew up totally dependent on those kind of luxury goods, you know what I mean? Anyway, what's left? Bootleg hand sanitizer. Allows panic buying to spread into the black market through bootleg hand sanitizer. Highly effective in poor countries, but will wear off due to safety concerns. Makes perfect sense. Yeah, people try to do some bootleg stuff. They like, I think I saw like a CDC article or something like that saying, hey, please don't get vodka and think that alcohol is in some way going to stop it. It's not the same. Stop. It was ridiculous. Let's go and grab that. A bit more severity should result in a little bit of extra DNA from me. We did get the hand sanitizer obsession. Constant buying increases short-term spread. Skin irritation is also caused due to constant hand washing, increases severity, but lowers the overall infection. Well, I don't really have a choice about that one. We just mutated it for free. Due to an increase in sales of hand sanitizer, many have started creating bootlegs that are untested and ineffective due to a lack of alcohol seen in actual hand sanitizer. This doesn't mean we shouldn't using booze to wash our hands, though. We should be? Are you sure? Maybe we could. I guess. I don't know. I haven't had to resort to that yet. You know, on the topic of things like shortages of masks, I gotta say, one thing I'm kind of impressed by is the sheer number of people who have come out of the woodwork in creating their own masks to, like, give out. Like, my own mother, for example, started creating a whole load of handmade masks with, like, little filters and stuff in them. Made, like, 40 or 50 of them and donated them to the local hospital. And she's not the only one. Like, I've seen tons of people coming up with their own masks. It's kind of impressive, actually. There's some talent out there. When there's a need, people will feel said need. News 2. Mainstream online news outlets report on credibility of panic buying, but isn't fully effective. And also radio broadcast 2. Broadcasts from mainstream radio stations allows for greater reach in more wealthy urban areas. Great, but we haven't even really gotten far into the West, nor have we gotten into the US. I'm a little concerned by the fact that we're just not able to get on a boat. Panic buying skyrockets. With growing fears of a pandemic, many have started hoarding essential goods. While we did call the idea of a world-ending pandemic fake, we also understand the fear people have been experiencing, and we like to tell people to stop panicking. Isn't it also kind of funny? Oh, we got encouragement. Isn't it also kind of funny how the media has sort of flipped around a little bit on this whole, the whole global health crisis situation? When the thing was first emerging, I remember listening to NPR, and yes, I know, by the way, that kind of goes with me calling myself smarmy and a little bit hipster. I know, I'm sorry. Anyway, listening to NPR, and they're talking about, it's actually not really any worse than the flu, so there's really nothing to worry about at all. Don't panic, it's fine. And then, amazingly, it gets in the US, and they're all like, panic, everyone panic, it's terrible, we're all gonna die! I don't know. Again, agendas. I can't decide if people are just, no one knows what's going on. There's probably some element of that, and some element of people just saying whatever the opposite is that their opponents have been saying, you know? It's just like, at the end of the day, just freaking wash your hands, respect the social distancing, and be careful, all right? Stay away from the vulnerable. That's my advice. My very non-medical advice. Herd immunity makes the host travel in groups of 2 or more. It also makes them immune to government advice as they're looking for their elders and not panic buying. Okay, is this good for me or not? Paranoia 2. Irrational delusions and mental symptoms. Victims distrust government advice leading to a need for stockpile. Something like that. Anyway, increases in dopamine send the host into small fits of selfish outbursts, spreading fear and panic further than ever before. Yeah, that's the other thing, is just outright, at least where I'm from, outright distrust, you know? The government comes along and says, well, y'all need to be doing this thing, and we're all like, you're just trying to control us, because Americans, it's just sort of what we do. I don't know, I'm probably making way too much commentary on this, but it's just kind of ripe, low-hanging fruit at this point. Eastern market appeal, do we want to do more poor regions? I think we want to go for the wealthy regions. We also could go for 10% off. Sure, all essential items in local stores are 10% off. How does that help me? I don't know. Please let me get into, North and South America. There we go! Ask and you shall receive, they say. All right, so we can go for the Eastern markets. We could also go for 25% off, 50% off. Somehow you can skip that a little bit. Not sure how that works. Greed 3. Okay, can be lethal. Toliet. Paper obsession. Highly effective in the poor areas due to constipation. Media 3, it's a little on the expensive side, but we'd have to go for it. That leads to television broadcast level 1. Effective in the wealthy urban areas, even if the media are mocking the panic buyers. And celebrity culture. Artists and celebrities begin to commentate on panic buyers. Works well in the wealthy areas. Yep. Don't you love it when the celebrities come along and tell you what you ought to do? Isn't that great? This is, by the way, why I don't make commentary, generally speaking, on most things. Any social issues or anything like that. Unless it's like fairly non-controversial stuff like, I don't know, wash your hands. But that's why I generally don't. I just really despise it when people come along like, well, I've got a platform, therefore I should use it. No. Your platform was not built for this purpose. Your platform was built to entertain. Otherwise, please don't. That's how I feel about it anyway, but I know a lot of people feel differently about it. It's fine. Man, I am talking way too much about this stuff. All right, well, I'm probably going to get demonetized or something. Probably fine. Do you want to go for the celebrity culture? I think so. That can lead to celebrity culture 2, which we just need more infectivity at this point, so I'm going to spend my points trying to do that. Not getting incredibly far, though, because I simply cannot get too far in a lot of these island nations, which concerns me. What are we missing? Caribbean, Greenland, Iceland, Madagascar, Japan, and the Philippines. Nothing but islands as far as the eye can see. If I go for 25% off, that is a spore burst. Good to know. I was wondering about that. Let's go for another one. Okay, so we're missing Madagascar, I think? Okay, so we're going to need to start ramping up some lethality here. I'm going to go for compulsive buying, because if we don't kill, then we're going to lose, because I can't seem to get much of anything when it comes to cure reduction. And if we aren't getting lethality, then I'm definitely not going to be able to get enough DNA. Man buys more than 6,000 packs of toilet paper. A local shopper recently bought 6,000 packs of toilet paper. The man has refused to comment, leaving us to suspect that this obsession either comes from fear or a mild case of diarrhea. Yes, very mild if you're buying 6,000, huh? Yeah, normal. Food obsession. Okay, that's good. I can't slow down the cure, though, so We may be in a little bit of trouble. This isn't the most incredibly balanced scenario, I'm just going to say right now. There's so little lethality, ultimately, that you'll really need to ramp it up quick. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to stop the cure, but I'm not feeling especially hopeful, simply because we're not getting a lot of DNA, so there's pretty much nothing I can do. It is highly hands-off at this point. I mean, we did get in everywhere. That's something, I suppose, but we're not spreading exactly very quickly. And with no DNA, this is gonna be a bit of a slog. Just a bit of a slog. In fact, we're actually killing too fast for places like Iran. How is that even possible? Well, there's no point in going for this, I don't think. An Eastern market appeal might help, but yeah, I think this is a loss. And maybe if I had ramped up the lethality a lot earlier, this could be done. But even so, it's such a slow scenario that I'm kind of debating whether I even want to retry. I mean, we could. Let's go ahead and do the 75% off just to try and ramp up the infectivity a tiny bit. But yeah, you can see we're making like no progress in places like Saudi Arabia or Iran. And there's really no cure reduction. Yeah, just not the most balanced scenario through and through. It really needs a lot more infectivity and lethality, one way or another, or you just need to be able to infect the entire world in panic, or something like that. Some sort of a different win condition, and some way to slow down the cure. But outside of this, yeah, I'm gonna go with, we were able to get a couple billion people dead from panic shopping and impulsive buying before the pandemic lifted, and everyone's like, oh, I guess it's not a whole lot to worry about anyway. Okay, store panic is gonna end. Yeah, well, that's a failure, but I don't think it's really worth retrying. It's an okay scenario. The concept is fine. It mostly just really needs some rebalancing. I mean, look how slow that was, ultimately. 1,000 days, and still nowhere near enough lethality or infectivity to really facilitate that. So, some good customization there. Just needs a few tweaks, I think, and then it would be a lot better. All right, thank you all very much for watching. Please don't crucify me too much in the comment section if I said something stupid. I try not to talk about things, but apparently I did today, and, well, I guess I deserve what I get. But anyway, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.